Hey guys, welcome back for another video. Today I am dropping all of my secrets and tips and tricks that I've learned through starting 2 different Etsy shops and helping you get started on your own shop. This is going to be a very technical and informative post. So if you're looking more for just the basic how the heck do I open an Etsy shop, I have a different video that I will link up in the cards above, as also put in the description. It's just a screen recording of the last time that I opened that second Etsy shop. So check that out if you want the easy quick start guide. This is going to be the, all right, you started your shop, now what? Obviously, some of the basic things people always tell you when you start: pick your craft, make sure that you know you have a market for what it is, like people are actually buying the item that you want to sell. For my first Etsy shop, I actually started with hand-stamped necklaces, and I might have sold like 3 over the course of the first several months of that shop. But then I realized I could make buttons instead, and they were a lot more profitable, and I liked making them a lot more. So I ended up switching over to that and just letting the hand stamped necklace listings expire. I think I still have like 6 or 7 necklaces that have been unsold since 2017. So if you guys are looking for Disney hand stamped necklaces, I got a couple for you. You also want to make sure whatever craft that you choose, it's not going to cost you more to make than it is to sell the item. You also have to factor in pricing on your time, because if you only charge money for shipping your item out, for how much it costs to make it, you're working for free. And that defeats the purpose of a side hustle. So don't do that. A lot of people will share pricing strategies on like, oh, look at this, how much your item has cost to make. This is how many hours you've spent on it. This is all that. This is what you should charge. But in all honesty, number one, look at your competition. Because if you're either super underpriced or super overpriced, that's going to be a problem. Underpriced says to people, something's wrong with this. It seems like a scam, or it seems like it's not as good quality. Overpriced, obviously, going to be a problem because no one's going to buy it. But don't just price things at a certain price point because that's what others are doing. You do have to look at how much it costs to make the item, but the most important part is valuing yourself and making sure that you don't stiff yourself on how much work and effort and time you've put into making the product. When I started off doing custom fast passes for my main street shop, I super undercharged for any customs and personalizations and everything because I didn't have a set message and response and price for people who wanted customization. If they ordered my file, which the standard one I think is $15, and they wanted like a couple tweaks, I would just do it for them for free. Now it actually costs money to customize those products. So that's something that I definitely have learned over time, because your time is worth money even if you don't think it is. As I mentioned in a previous video that I did about dumb money purchases that I spent, don't legally incorporate your business until you know for sure it's going to be around for a while and that you can cover the money it costs to do the paperwork with your profits from your business. I started my first shop in October 2017 and I got my LLC in January, but it took me the entire rest of that following year, 2018, to cover the legal expenses for starting the business. It's great now because I have the business and it's covered and it's its own thing. But if I had done that right in October, it would have been pretty financially hard for me to, again, cover the sales because I only sold like a couple necklaces right at the beginning there. Also, when you're starting a business, I would say don't make it super narrow, especially if you are an online retailer. Unless you've been doing your shop for a while and you know absolutely without a doubt, like, this is what I'm going to do, maybe keep your options open a little bit, because the name of my first shop still is Main Street by Becca. I did not name my LLC that because I wasn't sure like how long, if that one was going to be around, if I was going to switch it, if I was going to do whatever. And the nice thing about legal paperwork is you can register your business as a certain name and then get what's called a doing business as license paperwork, whatever. So you can operate as whatever shop or thing you choose to work on. My technical business is Rebecca Bryant Design because that is what I do mostly. I'm a graphic designer at the core of every craft and thing that I've done. And obviously Rebecca Bryant is my name. But I have doing business as paperwork for Main Street by Becca because that's where 90% of my income comes from right now. Speaking of naming your shop and side hustle and stuff like that, you definitely want to look into competitors and like people that might have similar names to you or people in your niche that you don't want to be confused as. I think there's someone technically on Etsy with the shop name Rebecca Bryant Design. So my shop name is Rebecca Bryant Designs with an S on the end. But I mean, that shop is rather new and it's mostly a digital printable thing. It's also just a little facet of the brand that I'm already working on over here with the Bryant family and the blog and everything. So I judged it okay to have a similar shop name. But for instance, when I was starting my Disney accessory shop, I wanted to make sure that no one really had a similar name to what I was doing. Obviously, if I just said something like Main Street, there's a lot of things that that shop could represent. It could be, I don't know, a cute home decor shop. It could be a lot of things, really. I named it Main Street just because of like Disneyland and Disney World both have like their Main Street USA thing, and all of the other names that I had were super flowery and like way too Disney, honestly. You also want to keep an eye out on social media for whatever name you choose. Thankfully, Main Street by Becca is available on Facebook and Etsy, or not, well, Etsy too, but it's available on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Etsy, all that. So I was able to brand everything the same and make sure that it was all cohesive. All that to say, basically, choose your name wisely, and then you want to make sure to also start your social profiles when you start the shop, because even if you don't start using them right away, you want to have the branding there, and you want to have that foot in the door with the customer base, so at least you have it started, and then when you have more time, you can focus on that versus getting your shop and side hustle running. If you're a graphic designer, quick tip here also, instead of selling on Etsy and fulfilling your own orders, you can also work with print-on-demand shops like Zazzle, Teespring, Redbubble, etc. And they'll actually send out the product for you. You just have to put your design on the shirt. Granted, your profit margin is going to be a lot smaller, but your effort is also going to be way smaller. As an example, I actually put up designs on Zazzle 4, 5, 6 years ago, and they just chilled there and I forgot about them because I wasn't doing full-time graphic design work and side hustling back then. But I just got an email recently that my one design that I put up had made it over the $60 payout threshold, $50 payout threshold, whatever. And I had literally done zero marketing, zero promotion, zero anything with it besides upload the product. So $50 in 4 years, 5 years is not a lot. But imagine if I had actually been routinely adding to that shop and promoting it and telling people like, hey, look at this, you should come buy it. I could have made a lot of money by now. So that's something I'm definitely looking into. If you are making your own products and shipping them out, keep an eye on shipping costs. For my Main Street shop, since I do deal in physical products, shipping every month is one of the highest costs that I have for the entire shop. As an example, last month I made almost $300 in that shop, and $100 of that I had to spend on shipping labels. So definitely look into places where you can buy cheaper labels. Etsy, I know, has discounts on them. That's usually what I use. I've heard about stamps.com. You can get discounts on labels there. I haven't used them, so I can't tell you whether they're good or not, but I have heard other good things. Speaking of actually printing the labels, a label printer specifically for shipping labels is really expensive in my opinion, unless, you're making more money than I am, obviously, because then it could be a drop in the bucket. But one thing that you can do is actually buy printer paper that is labels for shipping. You can get it from Avery, but also there's other websites that are cheaper to buy shipping label paper on. I think one of them, what is it called? I buy it in bulk, so I can't remember. I want to say it's like onlinelabels.com or something. I'll drop the link to that down below. But you can buy sheets of paper that are 2 labels on them, which is the perfect size for the 4x6 labels that most packages have, especially if they're coming from Etsy. So definitely look into that. Obviously, you need a printer for that. And another tip that goes along with this is you should really be getting a printer enabled with HP Instant Ink. I actually learned about this as a tip for being a teacher, because teachers are definitely underpaid and never have color anything. So when I was teaching summer school 2 years ago, I learned about this from another teacher YouTuber. If you have the Instant Ink program, the lowest tier is, I think, $3 a month, which is really, really affordable, because you end up getting 50 pages in color or black and white, and you can print at the highest setting you possibly want. I print at the highest DPI, which is a printer setting for quality, for my buttons, because I want them to obviously be a higher quality. And that normally would take a lot of ink, and it's expensive to replace ink. We actually had a printer before I got the Instant Ink program, and I was gonna have to get more ink for it anyway, but I found a printer enabled with HP Instant Ink on sale, and it was only slightly more than the cost of buying a whole new printer ink cartridge for that first printer. So I ended up just getting a whole new printer and signing up for the Instant Ink program. I'll drop a link for that one down below also as well. Most of these also are not affiliate links. I just absolutely love these products and use them all the time, which is why I'm suggesting it. There are some affiliate links down there below, but I don't get paid for them. I do appreciate it when you guys use those links, because it saves me money, saves you money, win-win all around. Back to what I was talking about and off my rabbit trail. Also, a thing to think about when you're shipping, do not spend $80 billion on custom packaging. Yes, as a small shop, you should have some kind of custom packaging. For instance, I have round labels that I have as stickers that go on the back of my button packaging with my social media and branding and everything. And then obviously I have business cards. But other than that, I don't have a ton of extra branding, because every time you add some custom branding and fancy packaging to your item, that cost for shipping and packaging goes up. And remember how I said shipping was 1/3 of the costs for my shop last month? Don't put that higher than it has to be. On the business card side, if you can't design your own business cards, there's a lot of places like Staples, Vistaprint, etc. that you can actually use templates and fill those in with your own information. The very first business card that I made was back when I was a freelance photographer, and that's what I used. I used a discount code for Vistaprint and one of their templates. But now that I have graphic design skills, I design all my own cards, and it's actually pretty easy. I use the Adobe Creative Cloud suite, which, unless you do hardcore graphic designing and video editing and photo editing, it might not be for you. However, Canva is a free service online that's basically like Photoshop Lite, and you can do a lot of beefy editing and graphic design on there. So if you're not ready to put in the dedication and money that is required to both learn and purchase Adobe software, Canva is definitely something that you should look into. If you just want a simple business card that's already pre-made, you can literally just drop in your information and everything. I have one available on my Etsy shop. It's kind of like an experimental product to see if anyone's actually going to buy it. I'll drop the link to that product down below, but it's basically just like a black and white monochrome with simple icons type of business card, which you can use for a lot of industries. It's also my personal business card right now for the Bryant family and Rebecca Bryant Design, but that's besides the point. I also have not printed that one yet because, again, I don't sell physical products on Rebecca Bryant Design, so I have no need of business cards right now. If you're looking into craft shows, make sure that it's worth it because the costs on overhead can be really expensive, and then certain craft shows really aren't worth it to go into. I did 2 craft shows 2 or 3 years ago. One of them had barely any foot traffic, so it was definitely not worth it. The second one, I got a couple sales and it had a lot of good foot traffic and it was a good experience, but it was super expensive, even though the proceeds did go to help the local schools. So I still think it was worth it, even if it was more of a donation than actually making any profit of anything. If you do choose to sell in person, make sure you have a credit card processing software. My favorite, honestly, is Square. And I'll drop a link down below where you can get free processing on up to, I think it's $1,000 of purchases, because otherwise they have a certain percentage processing fee. And you can get a swipe reader that connects to your phone for free. You do have to pay for if you want the card reader version, but the swipe reader is perfectly fine for starting out, and then you can look into upgrading to the card reader later. All right, last 2 tips. Make sure that you are keeping track of your budgeting expenses because it can be super, super easy to just spend all your profits and then you're like, crap, my side hustle's not making anything. I just have a simple spreadsheet that I use in Google Sheets. It's really not that hard. You just type in like what you spent, what you made, and then at the bottom, at least in Google Sheets, I think this also is the same format in Excel, but at the bottom, all you have to do is in your little box, that's your total, click equal, type in sum, and then select all the boxes and it'll just add everything together for you. And it'll show you, did I make a profit or am I taking a loss this time? Last but not least, don't upgrade and spend all those profits like I was saying before you're ready. There's been a couple upgrades that I've made to my shop before. One of them was buying a button maker because that allowed me to make way more buttons than I already was, and it cut down on my overhead costs. Another upgrade I did was buying the sticker sheets instead of I used to take my packages to the post office. That cut down on time and money. And then most recently, one of the things that I upgraded on was I bought a service that helps me with tagging and SEO on YouTube, and I'm probably going to use it for this video, honestly. That one is rather new as far as upgrades go, so I'll let you know how that works in the next year-ish, because I think I bought a year subscription to it. One thing that you'll notice I have not purchased, as I said, was a label printer specifically. That was way too expensive, and the paper labels that are just like peel-off stickers, they work fine for me, so I don't need to spend extra money on that. If you have any questions or if you have any other tips for people that you would love to share as well, go ahead and drop those in the comments. Go ahead and give us a thumbs up if you liked this video and if it helped you out with starting your Etsy shop. I make 2 videos a week, one vlog, one sit down like you just watched. My videos deal with being a first-time mom, running your side hustle, and balancing your budget and your life. So if you like that kind of content, go ahead and click the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you know when I upload. Thanks for watching and have a great day, guys.